So I just recorded like the first 5 minutes of this and then accidentally deleted it, so here it goes. You're Not Broken, Chapter 7, 5 Steps to Become Superconscious and Activate Your Magic by Christopher Duncan. Chapter 7, True Choices. When you are really living the core 4 choices, you can find you no longer desire many of your old goals. This is because many of them were negative visions designed by your unconscious as a way to complete you. They were designed by your limited perspective to solve a problem you believed to be true about you. Usually, one of the 6 core negative beliefs. A negative vision is the opposite of a true choice, and we will discuss the 7 focus points that create a negative vision in this chapter. In short, most people do not have true choices because they have spent a lifetime ignoring or editing their true choices. Don't forget, drink spring water. Just because you are living the core 4 choices does not make you a conscious creator. It makes you satisfied and happy. However, humans are not designed just to be happy. We are designed to go on an adventure of creating and experiencing conditions and circumstances that matter, ones that light us up on the inside and that we love. Living the 4 choices is just a milestone on your adventure of a lifetime to create a life you love. After a few years of working with my superconscious, I was happy, content, and satisfied with life. I was able to arrive at any circumstances and feel the same. I had mastered the moment. However, I wasn't creating. I was still living out negative visions and intentions I thought were true choices, but in reality, they were not. After Dees died, I got myself into multiple business partnerships that did not work out. I was trying to fill the void Dees left in the company and in my life. I was living from a limited belief that I couldn't build a business on my own. Each partnership I entered became increasingly worse until I was broke in Austin, Texas, after yet another horrible partnership breakup. Very odd, because I was also left broke, homeless, in Austin, Texas, and I used manifestation techniques to completely shift. It's a very fascinating story, and I did have a video of it on one of my YouTube channels back in the day, probably this one, but I love to disappear and delete everything over and over again. Ghost mode. Anyway, back to the book. I thought I was doing everything right. I treated all the negative emotions and allowed myself to feel good, spending a few months in Texas on a mini vacation. I was living in the moment. I was happy and loving life, but I wasn't creating. With our lease coming to an end, my wife and I needed to make a decision about what would happen next in our life. Being on a vacation and having a home doesn't sound very broke to me. We looked at many places to live in many different states. We knew we did not want to stay in Austin because of the pain of running into my ex-partner's business partner. New Zealand, Australia, we could go anywhere. We decided the best move was to head to my wife's home country of England. We rationalized that it would allow us some quality time with her family, when the truth was it was just a safe and easy option. We moved to the countryside of England, living with my wife's brother, walking our dogs each day, and had a small online business that made enough for us to live on. We felt happy and content, yet something was missing. One day, as I was out walking and feeling great, I had this sense of sadness come over me. I can't explain it, but it was like I was longing for or missing something. But at the same time, I was just so content. I couldn't understand it. There was no problem to solve, yet there was something else I needed. I didn't know it at the time, but the goal isn't just to be happy. This is because we desire more than that. Humans are obsessed with one thing, and you can see it in all sports, movies, plays, dramas, and in our life's journey. We are after an adventure. We desire to go out into the world on a quest to get somewhere, overcome the odds, and create a result we love. Heading home and explaining it to Harriet, we decided to sit and create new choices for our life. We sat down and started with our life choices, using a predictable process that we will cover in this chapter. After connecting into our superconscious and choosing the core 4, we started on our other choices, after asking for a symbol or vision for the end result of creating a business that changes the world. I asked Harriet what she got, and she said S. I said, me too. Then I asked her, what did that mean to you? She turned her page to me and it read, Speaking Business. At this point, I was laughing my head off. I showed her that I had written Seminar Business. We both got the symbol of an S, and we both interpreted it as the same way, pretty much. The problem was, I didn't want to start a speaking business. I had tried that before, and spent too much time away from my family. I had failed at that and had made up my mind to build a real business. I was living in the English countryside and hadn't planned on building anything other than an online marketing company, so we ignored it. The next end result we tuned into was the end result of our perfect home. I got the image of a big house by the beach, close to an airport, lots of sun, big open spaces, water views, solar panels, and space for the dogs to run around. Harriet got something very similar. Writing it down, we both felt a sense of impossibility, as there was nothing like that in England. Beaches and sun? Not possible, we thought. As we continued the process, we kept receiving messages that just weren't possible. We chose to ignore them, and instead of starting the S business and living by the beach, we moved to London. We tried to justify the move as being close to nature, as we had moved to Hampstead Heath outside of London, which is a beautiful part of the world. However, as we trudged through the icy winter weather, we knew it was not our end result. This was not the guidance we received. We were not following through. We were trying to have everything make sense. We were living out of reaction and limitation. About 6 weeks after the move, we received a letter from the immigration department stating I had been refused my visa. We had not met the income criteria due to having a business that was only 2 years old. It was the same business we had been running for years, and we had just restarted it, but it didn't matter in this case. I had 30 days to leave the country. I could only challenge the decision outside of England. However, an appeal could take 6 to 12 months. Sitting in disbelief. We felt like our world had been pulled from under us. We had only moved to England the year before, and we loved being close to Harriet's family. The thought of moving with 2 dogs and establishing ourselves in a new country again felt grueling. Harriet is English and I'm from New Zealand, so we knew Australia was the logical choice for the move. Previous residents in Australia for 5 years gained Harriet her long-term visa, and I had automatic access as a New Zealander, so we decided that was where we would go. From all perspectives, it looked like the move was going to be horrible. I had less than 4 weeks until I had to leave England. Even more heartbreaking was the fact that our dogs had to have a 6-month quarantine without us. With the added pressure of running a business and the multiple failures I'd had before, I was stressed out of my mind as I formulated a plan. I felt like a total failure. A part of me wondered if Harriet would even bother joining me in Australia, because at this point nothing was going right. I boarded a plane for Australia within a week, intending to find a place to live, and because we needed to make extra money to pay for the unexpected expense of moving. Just gotta go make myself a coffee, be right back. I reached out to some of my old business contacts in Australia and organised a series of workshop/speaking events. I wasn't in Australia for even a week before we put on the first event, and it was a big success both financially and emotionally. In the middle of all this mess, I had something I knew I had to do, and could make great money fast. I rented a small place, and for a month I worked my butt off running events, making money, and getting us set up. Harriet packed up the house and found a farm for our dogs to stay in for 6 months and luxury quarantine. She also closed businesses, said goodbye to family, and did the million other things that needed to be done. After that month, she arrived to a brand new business in a brand new country. 6 months later, our dogs arrived and we moved into our perfect house at Palm Beach with a huge backyard. It was a 15-minute ride to the airport, and we had our own private beach. We had events every weekend, and our income had doubled. If we had listened to our truth and not to our fear, we would have taken the correct action earlier and saved a lot of pain. When you follow the 5 steps, your wildest dreams will come true, even if the goals or visions seem completely impossible. When you follow your heart and align your superconscious, your true end results manifest like magic. If you listen and follow through, you will have a much easier time than if you ignore what you get. For us, if we had just listened in the first place to what our heart and intuition were telling us, we would have ended up in Australia with far less trouble and stress, and we wouldn't have wasted a huge amount of money. From that moment on, I decided I would follow my truth, no matter what. This was not the only time I had been in awe of the superconscious. In November 2019, I was doing this process and got a clear vision of the US map, followed by a YouTube symbol. I started writing what it meant and decided I needed to create a YouTube ad with the US as a target market. This was an entirely crazy idea at the time. I had no clients in the USA, lived in Australia, and had never created a YouTube ad. This time, I followed the instructions, even though they seemed crazy again. I did some research, got some instructions, and turned on the ad in late October. The month before the YouTube ad, our company had generated $100,000 in sales, and I felt quite good about that. But what happened next was amazing. The YouTube ad went viral, and new sales increased by over $300,000 in 1 month. It made no sense at all. Even if the instructions don't make sense, you'll see them come true. When you get a clear message, it's always a positive instruction. Do this. It is never don't do. It usually comes in the form of a symbol you need to decipher for meaning, and sometimes it comes as a clear image of the end result. Whatever you get, you need to ignore your doubts and perceived limitations. When you follow through on the instructions, you will receive end results that impact you and others at the same time. One day, after a huge month of running events and promotions, I sat exhausted, flicking through Facebook messages. I had received multiple messages from one of my students asking me to work with him. He wanted to work one-on-one with me, which was not something I typically offered. He was persistent, so I connected into my superconscious and asked, what should I say to him? The answer I got was yes, so I reluctantly took him on as a client. A month later, I was on an all expenses paid business class flight to LA to meet this client, who, unbeknownst to me, at that time was a member of one of the top 2,000 richest families in the world. His mother was in total gratitude after I worked with her son, and I was able to ask her some meaningful questions only a self-made billionaire could answer. The answers I received changed my whole perspective on what is possible, who we are, and how the world works. I would not have had access to these answers without following my superconscious intuition. By learning to listen to the superconscious, your results will happen faster. It will seem like magic. And I'm going to chirp in there. By learning to listen to God, your results will happen faster. It will seem like magic. Because I've been going down the Christianity rabbit hole, and this alongside prayer. Manifestation is basically prayer. It's just that's kind of New Age spirituality, and Christians pray specifically to God, but you could probably switch out the word superconscious with God and it would make sense. He knows the next steps for you. He knows the bigger picture. He'll give you visions and dreams and wonders and symbols and signs. You know? Anyhow, I'm just going to pause because I've got a lot of errands to run, and then I'll come back and finish recording this chapter after I've done the nursery run and gym and various things. Let go of trying to work it all out so you can learn the truth. Getting information from the superconscious field is always going to be faster than trying to use your self-conscious. This is because your self-conscious only uses your lifetime experience to make decisions, whereas the superconscious is connected to infinite intelligence. It's obvious which aspect will make the better decision. Listening to the instructions and following through is the hard part because your thoughts and feelings will lie to you. Your self-conscious and unconscious do not understand the superconscious. Your self-conscious perspective thinks it can work everything out. It thinks it knows everything, and it doesn't believe in miracles. Our collective self-conscious perspective have been trying to understand the miracle of human existence, and we've been struggling for centuries. Let me just turn a lamp on because this lighting is shocking. Get some colours on my face. Imagine if, in order for anything to be true or valid, we had to work it all out. It's funny to think about that, but this part of us really believes, if I don't understand it, it can't be possible. To our self-conscious, everything must make sense. Your self-conscious wants clear, linear steps. It likes to know how things are, and it doesn't want to make errors. So, the idea of following through on guidance from the superconscious can seem ludicrous. The problem is, the self-conscious can't understand the infinite potentials of the universe. In order to be self-conscious, our consciousness must observe itself as separate from the world around it. To do this, it must forget that it is more than this. This process of forgetting is needed to have our human experience, yet it causes many challenges. One of these challenges is the reliance on thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings are based on memories picked up in this lifetime and are totally limited because they are only based on this one lifetime. The superconscious does not have thoughts or feelings. It is a field of all information, so to become superconscious, you must let go of your thoughts and feelings. Strangely, our self-conscious believes it knows better than the superconscious. It thinks that if it doesn't understand it, then it must not be valid for or accurate. All your new knowledge lies outside of what you already know. By needing to know everything, you slow down your ability to learn what you don't know and to receive the truth. If you want the truth, you must allow yourself not to know. Allow yourself to receive what is there without judging or trying to work it out. It sounds funny, but the self-conscious ego thinks it can use Newtonian reasoning and breaking everything down into pieces. By understanding a small piece of something, then it can understand the whole. The absurdity of this is obvious. Imagine trying to understand a human being by examining a strand of hair. What's the result of the self-conscious? When you get genius ideas, it will lie to you and try to say the idea is stupid or won't work. It will try to create a narrative or look for proof. It will always try to plan and work everything out. It believes it knows what is possible. The self-conscious is very good at knocking you out of the superconscious field, and you must not give it the power. Your unconscious, on the other hand, is the domain of feelings. It keeps a record of the past and helps you make decisions in the present. Remember those shortcuts that tell us whether something is right or wrong for us? What has been determined to be right or wrong is simply based on how we survived. The unconscious only has one desire, to keep the body alive. Therefore, it looks to repeat past conditions. Because of the unconscious, you cannot make decisions without feeling the right way. For example, when you see an attractive person on the other side of the bar and want to talk to them, you will likely feel a shot of fear. This fear makes no sense, as the other person is probably nice and would engage in a conversation. However, your fear of being rejected is stronger than the logic, and you decide it's safer to just order another drink and stay with the people you know. Your emotions are the decision makers in your body and have no basis in reality. What is great about the unconscious is that it can easily be reprogrammed. You can use the emotion of the end result to teach the unconscious that the future you desire is safe. This is vital to understand and to create a flowing structure rather than an oscillating one. In reprogramming the unconscious, we ensure there is no emotional difference between the now and the desire. When there is no emotional difference, then the correct action can occur. If you feel good standing at the bar with your friends and feel good walking up to the attractive person, you have no resistance. So, if you want to, you just take action. As you decide to follow through on the things that really matter to you, old patterns of information and former decisions will pop into your active experience, causing resistance. You must learn to stay focused on the end results and leave the baby crying. Many of us feel the need to race and fix any resistance we feel as we are creating, but unlike a real baby, your internal baby does not need your attention. You need to follow through anyway. We live in a world where any sense of discomfort is avoided as you are pushing your limits and stepping into new possibilities. Your unconscious will cry out, "You can't do this, it's too much. You don't even really want it. What will people think of you? You're not ready. You must leave it crying. You must leave it crying." The unconscious is designed to keep things the same. So, if the unconscious is happy all the time, you are not on the edge of creation, which is where you want to be, at least some of the time. Everything you truly want is on the other side of what your identity believes it is and what it believes is safe. As you go for it, there comes a point where your identity must give up its ways of being, but it will fight to keep its old patterns. It will literally kick and scream to keep its limitations, like a baby. Again, you must leave it crying. You must step into the end result, notice the crying, notice the resistance, recode it and follow through. You don't try to work it out. You simply let it go. You recode that shit and move on. He does actually swear. It says, you don't try to work it out. You simply let it go. Let it go in capitals, and then you recode that shit and move on! Exclamation mark. Coffee. Still warm. By doing this, you put a light on the vampire, your limiting belief. The belief cannot survive if you are living in a state contrary to it. For example, you might begin to feel the pull of not being enough. The antidote is to sit in enoughness, and as soon as you do, the part of you that was scared of it realizes you can exist in this reality. The belief cannot hold, and just like the vampire, it is obliterated. You must leave your inner child crying for attention and go for what you want, discovering what you would really love to create. What do you really love? Most of us have not answered this question in a long time, and are going for things we think we should have, think we should be, or what is expected. If you have ever been to a seminar where the lecturer makes you write all sorts of materialistic dreams, and you thought, I don't really want all of this, you were right. You don't. You don't really want the images you cut out from a glossy magazine and put on a vision board. There is nothing wrong with having them, but first, you must live your true choices in a creative structure, completely happy with the now. Ultimately, that is what you really want. If you are not living a life you love now, you will always be in the wrong structure. When you finally get into the right structure, and there is no resistance to any end result, you can then create material things with ease. They are actually the easiest to manifest. It's likely you have never asked yourself, what do I really love? What do I really want from life? What is my true dream? Let's do a little exercise to help you step into the difference between your identity / self-conscious and your superconscious genius so that you can find true choices that you love. 1. First, think of one thing you would really love to create more than anything in the world. Just pick one. 2. Now close your eyes and step into your superconscious field. Witness what you really love as true, from the perspective of your heart. Notice what it's like to just have it for no reason at all other than loving it. Feel what it's like from this perspective. 3. Open your eyes for a moment and then close them again. This time, witness the same end result from perspective of your self-conscious / identity. What do you believe having this end result will change for you? What do you need to do to get it? What would happen to you if you lost it? 4. What is the difference between the two? Can you notice the different feelings between your truth and your vision to compensate for feeling not enough? 5, and this is something I'm adding myself, pause the video, go back to step 1, do this process, pausing between steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, visualize and do it. Go back and do the process, and then continue on. Back to the book. In doing this exercise, when you experience a choice from your heart, it likely feels easy. Everything flows, and there is no resistance to having it. When you experience it from, struggling to turn the page, when you experience it from your identity, you may feel worried about losing it and excited only if you get it. It may feel like having it changes you. If you really went for it and failed, that would mean something to your identity. So you may avoid it and just go for other things where this risk is not present. Through doing this exercise, we can see why our goals don't manifest. We are creating them from a limited perspective of the identity, which tries to problem solve and fix. This is not the creative reality. Here's what happens when you're not creating your true choices. If you really went for something and failed, that would imply something to your identity, so you avoid it and just go for things where this risk is not present. But put differently, if you really went for the highest expression and didn't get it, your unwanted belief about yourself of not belonging, being insignificant, not capable, not worthy, not good enough, or not perfect would show up as being correct. So you edit your true end results and, instead, go for things to solve the ways you feel incomplete. A true end result is something you desire to create for no reason other than you would love to see it created. 7 focus points that keep you away from a true choice and stuck in a negative vision. In helping thousands create true end results/choices, I know there are predictable ways that we actually create negative visions instead of true end results that we love. I will explain these in depth, so you know what to look out for. These 7 focus points are the motivation behind the goals, and they knock you out of a true choice. 1. Resolve a negative belief. Your goal is about completing a way you feel incomplete. I am not worthy, so I will make all my goals about others, the world, and society. Once I am good enough, I will be worthy and can have what I want. I am not good enough, so I will set goals to achieve and prove to others I am good enough. I am insignificant, so all my goals will be about creating significance. Or I won't have any goals because if I went for them and didn't achieve them, I would prove I'm insignificant. I don't belong. So I will set goals to fit in, be attractive, enough to be loved, and create something to belong to. I will avoid rejection at all costs and reject others first, so I'm never the one rejected. I don't have the capability, so all goals will be about creating enough resources to finally be able to do what I desire. My life will be about having enough knowledge, money, relationships, time, or other resources to finally live my life. I am willing to lose my truth in the search for these resources. I am not perfect, and I need to be perfect. I need to control myself and how the world and others see me. I must be perfect because only perfect people succeed. All my goals will be about how I need to be, act, feel, and think. 2. Reaction. Your goal is actually a desire to get away from an unwanted circumstance or condition. I am going to do blank because of blank. Here's an example. I got fired, so I will start a business. Or I feel overweight, so I am going to the gym. The problem with this is all the motivation is stored in a negative situation, and a small amount of success will kill the momentum. To expand on the above examples, as soon as you no longer feel overweight, the motivation to go to the gym is gone. Or you realize you don't really want all the stress of a business and go back to a regular office job. In either case, you didn't really want the end result, so you weren't ready to do what it takes to make it happen. You can also have future reactions. This is when we look at all the things we don't want and then make a decision based on that. I don't want to blank, so that means I will go for blank. Like, fill in the blank. Some people say it this way: I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. This creates a complete focus on what is unwanted, which just gives away power. Just because you don't want a crappy boss doesn't mean you want to own a business. Just because you don't want to be unhealthy doesn't mean you love going to the gym every day. Reacting to the negative gives all the power away to the negative instead of having power in the creation. 3. Limitation. Your goal is actually focused on what you think is possible for you, not on what you would really love. You have edited down your dream. This sounds like I really want something, but I am going to aim for something because I believe that is actually possible. This person usually has reduced their goals to almost nothing. They want to avoid disappointment at all costs, so they set the bar low. They do nothing for what they really love. E.g., I would love to be super abundant and rich. However, I am only after $100,000 income and I would be happy with that. This removes all the emotion out of the end result and reduces inspiration massively. In fact, you're telling your superconscious you don't really believe in yourself or that it's bad to have what you really want. Limited beliefs, limited goals are not true goals. They are based on what we think is possible. There is no emotion in that. A lot of teachers say be specific, and this is good advice. The more precise you are, the better. However, this only holds if you apply it to what you really want or love. In our example above, a better goal would be I choose to have more money than I can spend. Can you feel the emotional difference in that? Behind limitation sits beliefs like I don't have what it takes to create what I desire, or to be the fullest expression of myself and love my life. Instead, it's just go for a Instead, I'll just go for a limited or small part of what I really want. Go for your truth, whatever substance it is. Whatever is right, just go for it. 4. Others' opinions. Your goal is designed to ensure others are happy. You only create goals based on what others think and what they will think about the result. Typically, there is a specific group or person whose opinion we care about most. This focus on what others think shows up as everyone thinks blank is a good idea, so I will do it. Or if I achieve blank, then others will think blank. Here's an example. All my family said investing in property is a good idea, so I will do that to make them proud. The challenge with this view is the end result is not yours, so you don't really own it. You set it up to be others' liability if it doesn't work out, and you are not trusting your own ability to know what is right for you. It's very confusing to the superconscious if you are not going for what you want and only propose to make others happy. 5. Control. Here, your goals must show up in the exact way you want them. You are not open to the end result. Usually, the control is in the time frame, the circumstances, or the people. Sometimes a person who can't let go of control never gets what they desire because all their goals require other people to meet certain conditions. E.g., I must have a loving relationship with a certain person, and they must treat me in a specific way or I will not be happy. Notice the lack of power in the above statement and the lack of free will. What if this particular person chooses not to behave in that way? What if that person lies or cheats? What if they die? That's drastic, bro. A better choice is I choose a loving relationship that makes me feel great. One of my true choices right now is I choose the end result of a healthy, happy, romantic relationship. Can you feel the freedom and space in this? So you don't involve names and specific people because then you're tampering with their free will to some extent. And yes, they're outside of your control. It could be the same person feeling the desire of the relationship, but the creator defining this choice starts a very different energy with the slight change in the two statements. There's a big difference between I must have a happy marriage with spouse's name and I choose a loving relationship that makes me feel great. And obviously, sure, when you're going into the visualization, you're probably going to think of your partner, if you've already got one, or your fiance, or whatever, or your wife, or your husband. Just don't involve names in the choices. A person creating this way is not actually after the end result. They are after controlling everything because if they really just wanted the end result, then they would be happy however it turns up. Here is another example of control when it comes to time. I will have blank in exactly blank month's time. By imposing conditions, you try to control how you get your end results, instead of allowing the true end result to manifest in the best way. This control creates stress and knocks you out of the emotion of the end result. It also knocks you out of the possibilities that exist and makes things very hard. Does it really matter how the money shows up? Could it turn up faster than you want? Could you be open to creating the best upbringing for your children instead of it having to be a certain way? Many face this problem when building a business. They are not open to the many ways to have financial freedom. They just want it the way they want it. They are not after the end result, they are after control. And yes, this says, it's very small, I am Yahweh. Six. Six. Indirectness. Your goals are the vehicles you have created to get you somewhere else you are taking the long route. That was going to be a full stop there. Your goals are the vehicles you have created to get you somewhere else you are taking the long route. Many try to plan their way to achieve everything. They like to think they know exactly what they must do to get somewhere, but they often get lost in what they think they must do, losing what they really want in the process. The fallacy of Find Your Why movement has created the idea that we do something to get something else. The problem with this is we lose our true end result by going the roundabout way. I am creating blank so that I can have blank. For example, someone might say, I created a business to create a good life for my kids. In the example above, the person wants a good life for their kids, so they started a business. However, it's possible that while building the business, they miss having time with their children. They start working late nights and early mornings, they get caught up in the process and miss what they really wanted. They missed the truth. If they just got into the end result of a great life with their children, maybe having a 9 to 5 job would have been better. Who knows? Fuck being a wage slave. Choose financial freedom. Money made without time. If this person had the end result as the focus, they would not have gone off track in the process. Many do this with education. They spend forever learning new techniques to finally be good at something, only to realize they could have started doing what they learned along the way and gotten to the end result faster. Indirectness wastes time. Later, we will cover the fastest way to get from where you are to what you want to create using your superconscious. You will be mind blown. You will be blown away. Go for what you want instead of taking a long way. Go for what you want instead of taking a long way. Seven. Default. This person doesn't really have goals and thinks what they have is enough. They say, I have everything I desire now. I don't need anything, or I just take it as it comes. I don't need goals. Sitting in the default position is having no goals. Sitting in the default position of having no goals won't get you the life you really want because the universe doesn't work that way. If you have no tension between here and what you love, you have created a void, and this void will be filled. If you are here to create more of what you love, you must have creative tension. Life is always moving. It's an action sport. If you are not the active, powerful creator of what you desire, you will be an element in others' ambitions. Many think just because they have a great life, they have nothing left to create, and that is just not true. Life is about creating what you love, and just because you have a life you love now doesn't mean you can't create more. In fact, it's exactly why you get to create more. As you can see from these 7 focus points, most people's goals are really negative emotions and are not true end results that they love. If you try to create anything under one of the above focuses, you will become very frustrated. You may have already experienced this. Instead, we create the core 4 orientations, step into a life we love first, and then use the superconscious to ask what we would love to create, for no other reason than we would love it. Sometimes, when I coach people to create a life they love, a very interesting belief comes into their active experience. I am not allowed to love my life. They have an instruction coded up that has made loving life a bad thing. If that happens to you when we step into the exercises that follow, just know you are not alone. The next step is to use the superconscious differently and gain insight into your true choices. What would you really love? The truth is, you can have everything you want, and you can be anything you desire. You are the creative energy. After all, you create it all. Before moving ahead, consider the one or two focus points that keep you from your true choices. For me, it is indirectness. I went to go for something to get me somewhere else. I spent years building a business big enough to feel worthy of being a mentor of conscious creation. If I just went for what I really wanted, I would have saved years. A mentor of conscious creation. Now, I believe this may have been his business name once upon a time, and it seems to be changed now. The program I'm on is conscious education, not conscious creation, but there is a creator's element to it. Lots of different masterclasses. Um, yeah. Look it up. Conscious Education by Christopher Duncan. What would you love to create? There is only one way to be in a true choice, and that is to go for things you love, end results you choose to create for no other reason than you'd love to create them. Start by claiming the biggest choices you can. This allows you to get in the energy of that choice. Then you break it down into small milestones you can focus on. Usually, people have 5 to 8 end results that are true for them. These are things they really love, and no two are identical. However, there are some common themes. What family environment you wish to create, what fulfills you, what you are passionate about, things you love to do, what art you love to create. Art is anything you make for the joy of it, what you love to do for fun, your intimate relationships, the home you would love to live in, your friendships, your perfect week / what you spend your time on, experiences you wish to have, and maybe even, building a space rocket and going to the moon to find out if it's actually made out of cheese, like Wallace and Gromit reckon, and then, bring some crackers. How you desire to serve / impact the world, your spiritual connection, becoming a superhero, how much financial abundance you create, what you do for a career / business. A lot of ideas to create true choices from. In all of these, the prime question is, what would I really love to create? This morning I chose the end result of endless cash flow, and with that, I would most certainly be travelling the world. I guess that would be a true choice of itself. I want to see every blooming animal in its natural, wild habitat before they go extinct. I don't want us to go to the local zoo. I want to see them in their natural habitat. I want to travel the world, not to see capital cities and humans. I mean, yeah, a bit of human culture, but more for the natural wonders and the nature and the animal kingdom. In all of these, the prime question is, what would I really love to create? You are not asking how you will get there. There are no limits, no conditions, just true end results you love to create. Breaking it down. A huge challenge people face when becoming conscious creators is they have never actually allowed themselves to create what they love. They base everything on what they thought was possible to solve a problem or go after what they were told was good. Yep, you're being told you're doing what your parents told you to do, you're doing what society's conditioned you to do. You just go study and get a job and then get married and sit in the same town forever. But there's plenty of ways to go and live life and create what you love. We don't have to be robots, people. Once you have decided on the true end results you would love to create, you can then break them down and focus on creating in a systematic and structured way. We call this process the lenses creation process because you are looking at one thing in varying degrees of focus. By changing the lens on a camera, you see in different ways. For example, you choose the end result of financial abundance. This is the biggest lens in that structure. It is a true choice because there is no reason to have it other than it would be wonderful. However, it is hard to act on such a big choice. So we break it down into a 90-day objective. We create a 30-day target, a 7-day plan, and a daily ritual. The reason we do this is to follow the natural rhythm of creation. A year is the total number of days the Earth orbits around the Sun. 90 days is approximately a season, and a month is an approximate lunar cycle. The weeks fit into the months, and the days into the weeks. By using the natural rhythms, you tap into a big field structure. Extra tip: start the year on your birthday to connect with your natural life rhythms. Now, when I first read this, I found that very interesting. To start the year on your birthday. And then you're in control. It's the start of your year, your personal year. Birthday resolutions, because it is. You're starting the 25th year of your life. You're starting the 50th year of your life. You're starting the 40th year, whatever it is. That's when you need to make those big changes, New Year's resolutions, because you're stepping into a whole new year of your body and your mind being conscious and existing on this planet. Breaking your big vision down through lenses allows the structure to flow. If you complete your day, it bundles into your week and your month, and then eventually the end result is manifested. This is superconscious creating. So, let's get started on creating your end results. To do this, we will go into possibility, imagination meditation with the core 4 orientational choices. To gather everything that is possible, we will ask for guidance from our superconscious. By doing this way, you are coming from a place of creation, not problem solving, and you gather true end results that you just love. Start with the first core choice. I choose to love my life. 1. Connect to your heart /superconscious /intuition and feel the moment. 2. Choose the end result of a life you love and feel it. 3. Ask, what are all the possible ways I can have this? 4. Notice what comes to you and write it down. 5. Ask, what would I love to create to feel this even more? 6. Notice what comes to you and write it down. 7. Repeat this process with the other 3 core choices, choosing to be the predominant creative force, having health and vitality, and living your true nature and purpose. And now I'm telling you, pause, go back, and do this process before continuing on and listening to the rest of this reading. Pause, each step at a time, follow through. I've done it, it's great. Now, this should take about 3 minutes per choice. This allows you to receive all the possibilities of how you already have the choice and how you can expand upon it. From the lists you create, I want you just to notice what is really true for you. What makes you feel really great when you read it. Don't judge it, just notice it and put a circle around it. I want you to find 5 to 8 amazing end results you would love to create from what you have written. Here are some examples of end results that our workshop attendees have written down. Spring water from the hills. I choose the end result of total financial abundance. Don't we all want this? Probably most of them. I choose the end result of a happy and connected family. I choose the end result of becoming a therapist. I choose the end result of public speaking to large audiences. I choose the end result of building homes in South America. I choose the end result of an amazing, connected and loving relationship with the man/woman of my dreams. Sure. I choose the end result of becoming an author. Yep. I choose the end result of owning my dream home. Most of us. I choose the end result of healing animals with massage. Interesting. I choose the end result of backpacking around the world. Most definitely. I choose the end result of writing children's books. Yeah, it's been on my mind. I choose the end result of sprinting 100 meters in under 12 seconds. No idea how fast I can do that, but that does sound quite fun. I choose the end result of creating beautiful art. I'll leave that to the women. I choose the end result of starting a business. Yep. I choose the end result of a divine connection. And so on. When you write down your end results, use the words I choose the end result. This is a powerful way to orient to creative choice. In our workshops, we do a 30-minute guided meditation on this process that really allows people to get out of their own way and receive what is true. Here is a place to write down all your choices. Start with the first 4 core choices. 1. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. 2. I choose to love my life. 3. I choose health and vitality. 4. I choose to live my true nature and purpose. Now I'm going to write the 4 core choices in the description of this video. Then break it down into your more focused choices. I choose the end result of 8. I'm not sure if you meant to just write it in the book. I might do it. There's not enough room really. But get a notebook and pen. I've got mine somewhere. I've lost them, but I'm going to write more on. Don't focus on more than 12 at once. More can be too much. Quality over quantity, right? After creating each choice, you can take each end result and define what the path ahead is. I like to focus on what could be done in the next 90 days to move towards this end result. I like 90 days because it is a season, and there is a lot you can create in a season. Once you have the 90-day outcomes, you can then decide what is needed to move forward on a monthly and weekly basis. I have found some people prefer to go from 90 days to 30, and others like to go straight down to a week. Break. Pause. For some of your choices, there will be nothing you need to do in the next 90 days. If you get there is nothing to do, let that be true. You don't always have to do something on every choice. Sometimes everything is in place, and you can just let that choice manifest perfectly. Many times, in your relationship choice, it's as simple as one word like time or love. And sometimes there is a real work to be done to move that relationship towards what you desire. Through using the superconscious to decipher what you love, you are much more effective at creating because you are no longer creating 2 waves of information in the field. You have all your focus on just the one thing you desire to create, instead of half your focus on what you want and half your focus somewhere else. In the past, you had negative visions disguised as goals. You were creating competing structures that interfered with each other. It's like throwing 2 stones into a pond. The ripples of each stone will interfere with the other and cause uneven waves. When you have a true end result, you put all your energy into one outcome, which creates just one strong wave of information or frequency. By connecting to your superconscious and deciphering what you would really love, you get outside of your current reality in a standing and enter a new place where you gain much more information. From here, you are able to formulate an action plan using both your logical, grounded thinking and your emotional, creative genius to create amazing end results. In the next chapter, we will talk about how to take these end results and bring them into reality. This is what we love. This is what we call the 5 steps to superconscious creation. It's time to learn the code and get the exact weekly and daily plan to bring all our end results into reality. Chapter 7, Review. Most people don't go for what they love. Most people's goals are really negative visions and aren't true end results that they'd love. A true end result is something you desire to create for no reason other than you would love to see it created. Being a superconscious creator is about creating what you love. Breaking your big vision down through lenses allows the structure to flow. If you just complete your day, it bundles into your week and your month, and then eventually the end result is manifested. This is superconscious creating. The creation starts off by claiming the biggest end result you have and then letting the superconscious guide you to what is there. When you learn to get information from the field, life will never be the same again. Next, we have the next chapter, the final chapter. Thank you for listening. I hope you got involved and did the processes alongside me. Stay tuned. If this is one of the first videos you're watching, go back and watch from the beginning all the way through. And if you're still with me, watch the last one as well. Dislike, don't comment, unsubscribe, and keep scrolling. Go waste your life. Or create your dream life, your choice.